this is one step that I haven't mentioned, and the reason why I haven't mentioned is because it's not required that you do it, but it gives you a lot of protection when you do it. Okay, so I recommend that you do it. Once you have a contract between you and the seller, okay, not a flex option. Once you convert that flex option into a contract already, or whenever you get into a contract with them, the first thing you want to do is you want to record an affidavit and memorandum of contract. It's not required that you do this, but it's very recommended that you do this. Okay, record an affidavit and memorandum. And it's also in that forms list for you. Okay?
Record it where?
The county clerk's office. When I say record any type of documents, it's recording at the county clerk's office. Okay? Okay, so yeah, so you record the affidavit and memorandum. It's like a really short, half a page that just says, this is my name or my company's name. I have a contract with this seller on this date, and for any questions regarding this contract, call me at this number, and this is my mailing address. And you get that notarized, and that's it. And what that does is it tells the whole world publicly that you have a contract on this house. And you do this so that way the seller can't go behind your back. There's no buyer can, try to circumvent you to and try to do the deal. If they do that, they can do that. But if they do that, when the title company does their title search, your recording will show up. And when they see that, they're gonna contact you. Now, I had a seller where we were ready to close. We have this house under contract for $70,000. We were ready to close, and the day before closing, the seller would just not call us back, like totally disappear. And so we weren't able to call her anymore. 3 months later, a title company out of nowhere contacted me. Tim, I'm working with this seller, and we're closing on her house, and I see that you have an affidavit filed against this property. I go, great. Can you give me the seller's contact information so I can clear this out with her? The title company gave me the seller contact information. I called the seller up and said, hey, what's going on? We were ready to close on this deal, and you defaulted on our agreement, and you didn't come to closing. Well, long story short, I told her that in order for me to release this lien, I have to do one or two things. I can either still close with you at the price we agree, or I'll have to charge you a fee to release it for you. And I said, well, how much do you have under contract with your buyer for? The new buyer. She has it under contract for $105,000 to a builder in that area. It was a really good deal. So I go, well, that's a huge difference, You probably don't want me to close on it. And so in order for me to do this, I'm going to have to charge you $6,000 to release your contract, to release this affidavit. So if you're fine with that, then we'll go forward with that. And of course she's going to do it. She's so because I filed that affidavit, I made money on a deal that I lost 3 months ago. Okay. Now.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah. Go to the mic. Now, if you're the one if you are the one that was not able to find a buyer, that could not close on the deal, don't try. Don't try to hold that against them, and just file the release of affidavit. Okay. Only if they're the one that's defaulting.
Okay. I had a piece of property that I sold, and the buyer pays the down payment fee, and it goes into escrow. Can you do the same kind of thing to the buyer? Because the buyer never would release that money. I should have gotten the money.
That's the reason why with this, you can't do that with buyers, because they have nothing for you to file against. They don't have a property for you to file against. That's why you have to get them to sign the release of earnest money before you get into the deal with them. Remember we talked about that yesterday? Okay. Yes, with buyers, before you submit that contract, get them to sign that release of earnest money early. Okay. Okay. So you record the affidavit, and then you're going to submit the contract and the affidavit to the title company, so that way they now have records of that, and they can start pulling title, doing title search.
Anytime seller can sue you because he comes to know, okay, property I agreed taking 100 grand, and actually it was sold to 110 grand.
Would the seller sue you?
Yeah.
Well, they know you're in the business to make money.
Okay.
They know you're in the business to make money, and you agree with them for 110, and they still get their 110. So the answer is no. I haven't had a case where the seller made a big deal about that yet. Yeah, because they're happy that you're closing on their house, that you're buying their house. At this point, it's a relief. You only, the times when if you were to do this is when you might get in trouble. If you were to buy this house from the seller, and then you lease it back to them, and they stay in the relationship much longer, they might come back to you at a later time when the situation gets better and says, look, I want my house back. I sold to you for this much and I want it back. That is the only time when that might be the case. But I've never done that, so that has never happened. But I've heard something like that happen to other people. In most cases, the sellers are now on their way, with their new lives, so they're not going to make a big deal about it.
In Illinois, it's a Class 2 felony to do what you just said.
Right.
I mean, I can't buy a house and rent it back to the owner because they could put me in jail.
Yeah. And the reason why, not all states are like that. Some states are like that. And the reason why is this, because sometimes it can, and it's especially that way, it's probably in pre-foreclosure situation. Because it looks like you are, it can look like you are loaning the money to or the seller thinks that you are loaning them the money. And so they go to court and says, no, I didn't sell my house to him. He told me he's loaning the money to buy this house, loaning money for this house. So that's when you get in trouble. But so you don't want to ever rent houses back to the sellers, okay? You don't want to do that. In Texas, it's totally legal to do it, but still, the longer you stay in that relationship, it's not good when the situation turns around. Okay, so you submit the contract and the affidavit to the title company, and then you get a contract between you and your buyer, okay, and you submit that contract to the title company. So now the title company has both contracts, and they know now to do a double closing, okay, because there's two contracts in place.